And we're live. What's good, Internet? Your boys are back. Another Friday episode of Afternoon Delight. Man, what a game last night. We got another big game tonight. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun series. This Celtics Miami series is going to be a slugfest the whole way.
It really is. And I don't know why I'm shocked. I had Jimmy Butler on my team for years. I saw what he can bring every night. I love his mentality. Miami is super talented, and I don't know why. I thought the Celtics were going to win in 6. I just thought they had too much scoring to go through droughts. Too many guys who could put the ball in the hoop in comparison to Miami, and
which almost the exact opposite has happened. To be honest. It seems like the Heat have too many guys. The Heat, you're looking at 9 guys that they can play that you're like, all right, you're getting quality minutes out of. With the Celtics, you're struggling with 4.
Yeah, the Celtics' depth is really showing some issues. I mean, they had to go deep in the bag. I really thought the Cantor move was a smart move.
I switched it up.
Brad Stevens obviously needed to make some kind of an adjustment, and Cantor was +7 in his minutes. I understand you could only use him sporadically in certain situations, but I do think when the Celtics are having trouble putting the ball in the hoop, he's a guy that could do it for you in 5 minutes, just being out there and really help your team out.
Yeah, not that Cantor is there's not that many good matchups for Cantor, but this I think is just a bad matchup. I mean, I think at the end of the day, Bam's just better on both sides. So it's like, I don't know what Cantor does. He's notably can't guard anybody, and if he's not going to do his annoying get boards and get putbacks, then he's just a rough spot in the series.
Yeah, for sure. But
granted, you could say about almost any series.
I think Daniel Theis is really good.
It's a lot of Brad Wanamaker.
It's a lot of Brad Wanamaker. I mean, we even got some Grant Williams yesterday, which, granted, he actually, his minutes were fine. I remember reading before the series started, apparently some scout, some website, I don't know, a Bleacher Report or SB Nation, one of those sites, put out like an anonymous scout said that Theis versus Bam is going to be a wash because people don't realize how good Daniel Theis is. And it's like, maybe we knew exactly how good he is. He's exactly this good, which is totally fine, but he's not as good as Bam, who does significantly more and can just impact the game more. He's a threat. You're afraid of Bam. I'm not afraid of Theis, no matter how solid his minutes are, no matter how many, times you look at his box score and he's got a good plus minus. Like he's a guy who is perfectly suited for a minimal role, the Aaron Baines role. He's perfectly fine replacing Aaron Baines. And if sorry to Aaron Baines fan club, one of the best Twitter accounts on the internet, Theis is that minutes is just not as important as a guy like Bam.
No, for sure. And I don't think I don't think it's supposed to be. It sounds like you're reading a Miami Inquirer Twitter that's suggesting this, that anywhere near, like, Bam's just so much more impactful on the court. I just think, right now it's just the depth. Celtics will lose. They're just beat. There's more guys on the Heat that can score. The Celtics can't keep up. They literally can't. Anybody goes to the bench, it's a problem. So there's rumors already starting that Gordon Hayward might play for Game 3. That I think that's going to be, that's going to be a huge addition without saying much. But we got to see if Gordon Hayward can fit back into the role of the team, because that's been an ongoing issue with Hayward. He comes back and it's not smooth.
It is not. And I mean, coming off an ankle injury, stepping into the Eastern Conference Finals, the intensity of that game for a team like Miami, who plays so freaking hard all of the time, is going to be rough on him. Goran Dragic continues to play like a superstar.
They just don't know what to do with him. They really don't. And it's almost like Goran Dragic gets lefty points. When you're playing on a court and some guy drives past someone 3 times before realizing that he's a fucking lefty.
Right.
I feel like Goran Dragic's getting lefty points right now, where he's just blowing by guys, and it's like, oh, that's right, he goes that way.
Right. I shouldn't force him left.
Oh, that's right. They literally look like he's getting lefty points, where he just gets 2 or 3 baskets because people are expecting him to go the other way.
Yeah, Dragic is just continuously underrated. And, he's been this fiery, competitive guy his entire career. And with this group, him being able to step up, like, honestly, he can create a shot right now. He's creating shots way easier than Kemba is.
For sure.
And Kemba had a really good first half, struggled in the second half with most of the Celtics. But Dragic, it looks like you're like, oh, this is sustainable. Dragic can just do this. There's no, he's on a hot streak. He could just do this because they don't have any answer for him. Because
Kemba's struggling. I mean, Kemba's struggling to coordinate any sort of offense of his own or creating for his teammates. It's a struggling series for him. Again, short point guards have this history.
For sure. So Spoelstra, we know we've talked about how this is going to be a chess match between the coaches, and Spoelstra broke out the zone last night.
I fucking love it. Every time I talk about it, I love it.
It absolutely changed the game. The Heat won the quarter by 20 points. I mean, the Celtics looked like they were in cruise control in the first half, and in the first half, I was like, wow, this is what I expected. Like, how long could Miami possibly do this? This makes sense. Celtics are doing whatever they wanted. The zone comes, and all of a sudden, Jaylen Brown and Kemba and Marcus Smart and all these guys who are like, they're good shooters, but they're not like zone busters. And that maybe if Gordon Hayward can come, he could help with that because he's, historically a much smoother shooter. Jason Tatum, he's a good shooter off the bounce. He's turned himself into a good 3-point shooter, but you're not looking at him like a sniper.
No, it just gives, again, even if it's for 5 minutes, and even get torched those 5 minutes, it gives you it gives the Celtics something else to worry about and consider. Just the change of the defense. You can possibly go 1 or 2 minutes before they're realizing they're in zone. It just gives them a different look and makes them try something else. Gets them out of rhythm.
Yeah. So we, in our men's league, we played with a guy who we would always historically stick in the middle of the zone at the nail line. Or a guy Mers.
Mers.
Shout
out to Alex.
Alex was better. Shout out to Mers too.
Both good, great people.
Yeah, and that middle spot is incredibly important.
Oh yeah, the anchor.
And I am wondering that if Miami goes to it again, I feel like you got to put Tatum there.
Because it makes sense.
Here's what Tatum does.
He's tall. He's good at being tall.
He's tall. He can see over the defense. He's improved significantly as a passer, so he can actually go and make plays out of that spot. But you're also getting that, like, if you get to the ball to Tatum on the free throw area below the top two guys, now you're giving him a little bit of room to go make something happen. You're giving him one, if nobody comes, he can just turn and shoot that little free throw shot, and that's easy money for him. But two, you can make things a little bit easier for other guys. Also, if you put Kanter in that spot down low in the zone below the bottom three guys.
Yeah, in a high-low type thing.
That's where you could get Kanter minutes. I feel like that is a good way if you're not going to go at it attacking with 3-point shooters. That's kind of a way that you can beat the 2-3 zone just by moving the ball around, finding little holes. Kanter's going to finish everything down there. So if you're just moving the ball around, making Miami rotate continuously, eventually you're either going to get that option with Tatum or you're going to get the high-low and you're going to get it down low with Kanter. And then he's a great offensive rebounder. So all those shots where you're rotating the zone, like you get a lot of offensive rebounds in a zone. It's one of the drawbacks to doing it. It's hard to rebound. And that's where Kanter can help them. So, if you're going to give Kanter minutes, I feel like that's a really good spot for Kanter. It's a good spot for Tatum and allows the other guys to kind of play a more simplified role instead of sticking Tatum in the corner.
Do you think when they go zone, Brad Stevens just like, you son of a bitch, Eric, you son of a bitch. You said we weren't going to go zone and now you went zone. You son of a bitch, Eric.
It seems like that. Part of me is like, the Brad Stevens everyone talks about, you'd be like, I love this. I get to think through this. How do I solve this puzzle? And thus far, they haven't really done it. And I look up and down the roster. I'm really like, wow, they just don't have zone puzzle.
So I think he gets into the spot where I get sometimes, where you're sitting there with the chess pieces and you're like, well, I got a horse, I got a rook, and you see the full lineup of queens and kings on the other side, and you're like, all right, well, I just don't got the right pieces. It's not a mental game anymore. Now it's just mathematically, you're just not there. So I'm really interested to see what they'll do different. The series is 2-0, and it feels like, everything's all heat. But these have all been close games. Yeah. Let's see fucking, if Gordon Hayward comes back, that's going to be a huge, huge, huge deal for the Celtics. Hopefully Gordon Hayward can come back healthy as well as contribute to the team and get in the flow of the offense easily, which has always been a struggle. But to me, this series has 6 or 7 written all over it. I wouldn't be shocked if the Celtics come back and win next 2.
Well, historically, Jimmy Butler with a 2-0 lead over the Celtics has not gone great for him.
Sure.
One of my most hurtful playoff series of my Bulls fandom.
Still a Rondo year? We still talking about that?
Yeah, that was a Rondo year.
Wow. Isaiah Thomas lost a fucking sister. We're talking about Rondo.
That was the 3 alphas year. For somehow Rondo, Dwayne Wade, and Jimmy Butler nicknamed themselves the 3 alphas and had to deal with that.
The Celtics, Isaiah Thomas lost a sister, and the Celtics completely betrayed Isaiah Thomas, and Isaiah Thomas' hip fell off. But we're talking about Rajon fucking Rondo and the Bulls.
Look, that was a really fun first 2 games. I really thought we had something there.
Some may say it was a fun 6.
Certainly some of the people from Boston. Does Marcus Smart's tirade help or hurt them? I feel like it helps.
Yeah, so report is that Marcus Smart, afterwards, you could hear him digging into the team and yelling at the team. I think Marcus Smart, everybody knows it comes from a good place. When he freaks out, it's not big. I doubt Marcus Smart is sitting there saying, hey, Tatum, you got to be better at what you're doing. I'm sure he seems to be the guy, the first one to take accountability and not just point fingers. I don't think this is a point fingers tirade. I think this is hey, we got to buckle down as a team and let's fucking go. We can't let this shit happen. As a team, not a individual Canner you suck type conversation. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's a team, trying to get everyone to buy in.
And honestly, I think it's important. I think the Celtics really need this guy.
He gives a shit. Imagine Marcus Smart on the Clippers.
Right.
No one gives a shit.
Marcus Smart on the Clippers, and the Clippers, I think they win the title.
Yeah.
You substitute, because he's the guy who is the leader. Yeah. And you look at Brad Stevens, his persona, I've never seen that dude get upset. He looks the same every time down. Tatum is one of those guys who has the same expression every time down. Like Marcus Smart, they need that fuck you out of him. They need that. They need that to have a little bit of edge. So him going in there, like you said, I'm sure he's holding himself accountable too. He's just holding everybody else equally accountable.
You need players with edge. Always have. Matthew Dellavedova, edge. Did a lot of dirty shit, but edge. You need these guys with edge. J.R. Smith, edge. Might be a little different, but has edge.
It's a different edge.
So you need guys with Matthew Barnes. When Matthew Barnes fucking, I feel like he'd still get a roster spot somewhere because that dude's the definition of edge. So you need that, and you need, I think it's big for Marcus Smart to do this. It shows that he cares. I feel like the Celtics don't want to be one of these teams like the 2012 Thunder, where they feel like, all right, well, we lost this one, but the window's open. We'll be back. They don't want to be like the 90s Magic, where it's like, all right, we lost this one, we'll be back, because you don't always get that opportunity. It's never a given. So when the opportunity's there, you got to go out and grab it. And I appreciate Marcus Smart for seeing that.
As somebody who watched Derrick Rose tear his ACL with a minute left in a game, I realize you might not be back. Let's
bring in Rajon Rondo and the Bulls.
There's a lot of ways I could bring this back to the Bulls. You mentioned it with the Orlando Magic. The Bulls took them out. How deep do we want to get into this?
I don't doubt your ability to do this.
And
if anything, I would say the Lakers took them out and they fucking took Shaq away.
Well, the Bulls were the ones who, fair, but the Bulls beat the Magic in the playoffs after.
Again, if you really want to make the argument too, it kind of goes back to the Rockets. Magic lost to the Rockets. Eventually they did lose to the Bulls after they beat the Bulls.
Right, but the Bulls handled them. The Bulls really handled them, and it was like, Shaq, go get your money. You're not good enough.
I get it.
It's the whole thing. It's a Bulls thing.
Yeah, within a 3-year window, the Bulls did beat them once. Yes, that did happen.
Lakers Nuggets, game 1. Somehow the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 games in, we finally get game 1. For some reason, with no other games, it starts at 9:00 tonight. I guess it's on a Friday. It's on a Friday, so it's not as bad. But that bums me out. 1 hour earlier. Push it 1 hour earlier.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love that. So here's the deal. This series is going to be I keep going back and forth. How I feel is going to win and how it's going to be done. I feel like the Nuggets high right now is kind of like how everybody felt with the Blazers, where it's like, oh, we fucking love this team. But at the end of the day, this is where I keep coming back to. I don't know who's covering Anthony Davis. I see nobody Jokic is insane, but you're going to throw Dwight at him. You're going to throw JaVale McGee at him. And, they're not going to guard him, but they're going to be annoying, and you got 12 fouls to give right there. So, I'm not, again, Jokic is still going to get his, but you have body. That guy. So you're going to have body. What is he drinking? So you're going to have bodies to throw at him compared to where I think, I don't see. They don't have nobody to throw at AD.
No.
They have guys to throw LeBron. There's nobody to throw at AD at all.
The problem is that Millsap and Jeremy Grant are the perfect modern day fours to guard your stretch fours, your small forwards who are playing power forward. They're perfect for that. The problem is that Anthony Davis is 3 inches taller than all of those guys that they're perfect to guard.
Yeah. So
you go down the roster and it's I don't know, Mason Plum, one of the Plumleys. Is it Michael Porter Jr.? They just don't have options there.
They don't. It's probably gonna be like Mills. It's got to be Millsap or Grant, but you're taking them away from covering LeBron. You want those guys on LeBron.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough. I would say maybe get weird and throw Bol in there for a little bit just with the length, but AD has about 400 pounds on Bol. That's the problem.
I don't see how they're gonna guard AD at all. I don't see it. So
they can't guard LeBron either.
Nobody can guard LeBron, but they at least have bodies to get in LeBron's. You can annoy LeBron. They can't even annoy AD.
No, they can't.
Because you're gonna throw Jokic. You're probably gonna throw Jokic on one of these shooters who can't shoot. You're gonna put him on Ron or something like that so he can help defend. But I don't. I mean, there's nobody on the roster that can even match up with AD.
So here's the best defense is a good offense. Thing. I don't know if the Lakers are going to start small. Like you said, they have JaVale, they have Dwight Howard. They went small against the Rockets because the Rockets were small ball. They're going to probably look at Jokic and go, who's going to guard him? We don't want to throw AD on him right away. We don't want him to get in foul trouble. We don't want any of that. So we're going to start JaVale. We're going to start Dwight. We're going to throw that at him. With that said, that means that AD is either clogging the paint or he's spacing out to the three-point line. You would probably want him closer to the hoop still and go 2 bigs in that scenario. But if they're spacing out the three-point line, it's almost a win for the Nuggets. So, I mean,
I don't think it matters because
is having Jokic kind of do damage offensively to where
you got to keep
to trick Frank Vogel into thinking he needs to have 2 bigs out there.
No, I think you're 100% right with that. I think they have to make it so Jokic, until they have to make it so Dwight or JaVale are out there for sure.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. But on defense, I think that inevitably whoever's guarding Dwight, or JaVale, which I don't. Maybe it'll be Jokic. You think it'd be Jokic? I guess if they're down low, yeah.
Honestly, I kind of think Jokic will kind of free safety it.
I think so too. I think, and that's what I say. I think the only way the Nuggets got to go full. They got to go Tom Thibodeau, LeBron offense, where it's just everybody got to clog the paint, and it's a team. It's got to be a complete team defense schematic to be able to stop any type of AD penetration. If you're making AD take long 2s or 3s, that's a win every single time. So I think you got to do the same thing. You got to completely clog the paint. Make these guys take long shots. The problem with that is, I think it's your best option. But the problem with that is that if one of these random role guys the Lakers have, if you get a Danny Green signing or a Caldwell Pope signing, whatever the case may be, if they start hitting shots, you're done. You just don't have the matchup you don't have the guys to do it. So I think at the end of the day, if you got to live and die with Caldwell Pope or Danny Green beating you, that's kind of got to be what you got to do.
Yeah, for sure. I agree, and that's, you got to hope that Gary Harris has it in him to be able to do all of the kind of double stuff that you have going on, while at the same time being able to go make it back and check the Carusos and the role players to make sure that they're not ending up with a random 11 points, and then next thing you know, you got two guys who are off the bench have 23 points for the Lakers. The other
have guys to throw. I mean, what worries me too is that the Lakers just have guys. The Lakers have guys to throw at the Nuggets' primary players. That's my concern. They can throw Danny Green or Kuzma or somebody on Jamal Murray, and they can throw Javal and Dwight on Jokic, while other way around, nobody can guard LeBron, and you don't really have him with third AD. So I just think, I think it's a favorable matchup for the Lakers.
It is. Now, what I'm going to be interested to see is what kind of pick and roll coverage the Lakers start out in if they are going big, because we saw what Jamal Murray did against Rudy Gobert, who is a significantly better defender at this point in his career than either Javal or Dwight. If they are going to play them and they play a same kind of drop coverage thing, that might play right into Denver's hands, where Jamal.
That's smart. I agree with you 100% for sure. I think that's definitely something to watch to see what they're going to test it immediately. So it's interesting. In the first quarter, you'll know.
Right, we'll know pretty much right away, and then it'll be okay. So Jamal Murray just hit a three. All right, he just hit another three.
Right.
Are we gonna make a quick adjustment? Get
that it goes AD back on Jokic, which you don't want either.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting, and then I want to see look, if you were starting a franchise, I think a lot of people would probably take Jokic over AD. AD has not really historically led team playoffs. But AD also, when he's on, he's more of an ideal sidekick. Like when Jamal Murray got going in the Utah series, Jokic was really good, but he's not contributing in the same way as easily as Anthony Davis is as a number two.
Yep.
So that's another thing to watch for. It's going to be much harder for Jokic to do what he does against a big team like this than it was against the Clippers, where everybody had to constantly double down, and then it opened up so many things. So it's going to be that just seeing if it's Jamal Murray series or a Jokic series is going to be another thing to watch for. And how do they figure out how to make it both? Because it needs to be both. It can't be Jamal Murray the star of the first round, Jokic the star of the second round. How do they both be the star of the third round?
No, I think you're 100% right. I agree with
you. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I'm really excited to watch that game. The line is -7 for the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lakers without questions asked. I mean, coming off Nuggets game 7, I just think they're going to be shot.
Yeah, so I either think the Lakers win by 13, or the Nuggets are just surprise them. They come out on a high and they pull it off easily, and it's not a game. It's hard to envision a close game, I think, either way.
Yeah, I just think the playoffs really have worked out for the Lakers. They keep catching teams that are going to end up being exhausted. So they caught the Blazers, caught the Rockets, and now they're catching Nuggets. It's not that they need any more favors, but they've been getting them. I think Nuggets are going to be shot for the night. I think this is a rough one for the Nuggets.
I agree. All right. Any final thoughts?
I think it's all I got for you.
All right. So if you're paying attention on Twitter, I am now going to be giving away a Tyler Hero jersey. People entered the contest, and you needed to follow on Twitter, you needed to retweet, you needed to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Hardwood Herald has officially passed over 100,000 views, which is an exciting time. Thank you to everybody who watched, subscribed, shared out, anything like that.
It's 80K of me on the LaMelo Ball video.
That's It's a lot of LaMelo Ball content that I put out, more so than I thought I ever would. So what I have done, I have gotten a random name generator. I'll try to figure out how to get it somewhat on camera. My green screen's screwing it up. I am going to randomly select one of the users who has followed all of the rules right now, and I will hit you up on Twitter to pick the winner. So let's start it out. Let's see. Random name generator.
LarryVillains, random.
The winner is official Alex 33. I don't know if we can officially see it. You can kind of see it. Official Alex 33 is the winner. I will hit you up to get all of your information to ship the Tyler Hero jersey to you.
Congrats, Alex.
Congratulations. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody. And we're really excited for the games for all weekend, tonight, all that. We will be back next week. And make sure, again, you like, subscribe, continue to support. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys. Peace.